What's good, everybody? It's your boy Wes back at you with another video. And as everybody in the boxing world, if you've been paying attention, recently Terence Crawford was just stripped of his IBF championship, and they have elevated Jaron Boots Ennis to be the world champion. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth on whether this was, the right decision, the correct decision. If the IBF made a decision too fast, since it's only been 3 months since Terence Crawford won the championship from Errol Spence in the big unification bout for undisputed, and a lot of people are calling it unjust. So I just wanted to get on here and share my quick opinion. Won't be too long. A lot of the arguments people have for it being unjust is the fact that we've seen sanctioning bodies like the WBC, the WBO give guys longer times to hold on to championships and to not be, stripped of the belt. But my thing here is, for one, each sanctioning body has their own rules. So we can't really go by, why a certain person got stripped of the championship when you're talking about the WBC and the WBO or even the WBA, because the IBF is not under the same, banner as all of them. Like I said, it's 4 different sanctioning bodies, so that's one thing. They don't all follow the same protocol. Second, a lot of people have to remember that these belts are getting defended in mandatories and rotation. So, if your IBF mandatory is the first one up, or the WBO and vice versa, depending on what fight you got next, you know, that's pretty much just the difference on why you would get stripped of a belt in some situations and you would not get stripped of a belt in other situations. People brought up Errol Spence, but about not defending his belt, his IBF mandatory for a long time. But I think if my memory serves me correctly, he defended it against Ocampo after he fought Kell Brook. And then you also have to remember that unification bouts usually trump mandatory fights, so you would get push your mandatory back to a later date by fighting unification bouts, which he did both times against Sean Porter and Yordenis Ugas. And he defended his WBC mandatory against Danny Garcia. So the IBF clearly wasn't in the rotation around that time. And right after Ugas, he fought Terence Crawford. Now, another thing, I'm pretty sure, I believe that if, it's due to injury in boxing, they don't normally strip fighters of the belt. Like we saw with, Jermell Charlo. He was out with a hand injury for a year. They didn't strip him of his championship. It wasn't until he announced the fight at another weight class that the WBO ended up stripping him. And that was pretty much the only reason, because he didn't defend against Tim Tszyu. And lastly, my point is, like, Terence Crawford fans seem to be angry that he's getting stripped of the belt, but are we going to just act and pretend like he wasn't the main one who said that he would not fight Jaron Ennis at all? Sorry, this camera, I'm shaking the phone too much. Like, yeah, he was the main one who said that he would not fight Jaron Boots Ennis when asked about it on video multiple times. He said, I'm on to bigger and better things. There's bigger fights that I want. He said he wants to fight guys like Canelo Alvarez. He said he wants to fight guys like, he was talking about fighting Jermell Charlo at one point, decided not to fight him. And people say, well, he's got a rematch clause. He's got a rematch clause. But if you pretty much make your intentions known that you're not going to fight the number one contender for the title, and he's been number one contender in the IBF for his past like 3 fights, first off, what is Jaron Ennis supposed to do? And what is the IBF supposed to do? So at the end of the day, I don't think it was the wrong decision. I think, Terence Crawford's words and the way he moves and just the things that he said is the reason he got stripped of the belt. Once you pretty much state that, no matter under what circumstances you won't fight the number one contender, I don't have no problem with the sanctioning bodies taking the belt off you and giving it to Jaron Boots Ennis. Because one, Jaron Boots Ennis is a young fighter who's 31-0, and he's got like 28 knockouts. He's proven himself that he deserves a shot at a world championship. And if the champion isn't willing to give him his rightfully earned shot, then he deserves to get the belt so he can have his own opportunities at making these big fights. But, that's my opinion personally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, down at the bottom. If you mess with the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, man, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.